Zena, welcome to Let the Quran Speak.
Jazakallah khair for having me.
Often when people hear about somebody in a domestic violence situation, the first question they ask is, why didn't she just leave? Or why did it take so long for her to leave? But in fact, it's a really difficult decision to leave one's home and everything that one knows for a completely new environment that could be a lot more challenging to deal with. Can you speak about some of those difficulties that women might experience?
Absolutely. We have a lot of our residents come to us actually after they've spent time sometimes in a mainstream shelter. So actually a government-funded shelter or a shelter not specific for Muslim women. And they've come to us sharing these stories of sexual abuse in those shelters by other women, people urinating on their prayer mats. They're not able to eat during Ramadan suhoor or iftar because kitchen timings are as such that they're not open that early or open that late. So we have these kind of stories that come, and for those women, they've gone back to their abuser so many times because of those situations, because for them, they look at it as it's a devil that we know and the devil that we don't know. And especially when they have children, they're always going to choose that place where they at least feel that their children are a little bit more safe. And for them, that unknown or those mainstream shelters are not that place where they want to have their children. Another big thing for women who are leaving is they always, for some reason, our women look a lot at what the outside world says and how they're perceived and cultural values. And they're seen as, the woman, the wife, the mother is the backbone of the family. She has to keep the family together. Come, hell or high water, you're going to keep the family together. You're going to face that abuse. We've had women who have come to us whose mothers have said to them, we'd rather you die over get divorced. We'd rather death over divorce because, we've been through it. Your aunt has been through it. Your grandmother went through it. How come you can't go through it? And so it perpetuates this feeling that even if I'm being abused, my family thinks that I should stay because it's the way that I show that I'm a good mother. And that's a big thing for the women who come to us who have children. Why did you stay so long is a question that we want to know. We want to know what are the difficulties that they faced. And they tell us, it's for my kids. I've stayed for my kids. And what they don't realize is that kids actually witness this abuse, and then a cycle of abuse becomes apparent in their mind, and they sometimes perpetuate that in their own lives in the future as well.
They might also be worried about how they can sustain themselves, right? Because, they might have been provided for by this abuser. And then when they're out, in a shelter, then what sort of funds do they have? Can they have a job? Maybe they haven't had a job for their entire life, right?
So some women who come to us, not only have they not had a job their entire life, they've never taken public transit. Some of them have never seen the inside of a Walmart or a grocery store because they were never allowed to leave home. So for us, sometimes we have to start from scratch. So we have a life skills course in our homes where the caseworkers will go over kind of public transit with them, what a credit card is, how to get a phone plan, how to open a bank account, what certain things on your credit card statement or bank account mean, what's a minimum payment mean, what does interest mean, how do they calculate that? How do you apply for a job? How do you write a resume? They do mock interviews with them. And obviously finance is one of the biggest financial, financial
especially
literacy.
If you have kids.
Exactly. Financial literacy and having that income is a big thing. And sometimes women come to us and they have kids and they're like, oh, well, the child tax benefit, for example, all goes into my spouse's bank account and we don't have access to it. So we teach them how to open a bank account, how to, call the government, get everything transferred over so that they have something to provide for their children. We also help them, if needed, apply for ODSP or Ontario Works OW, where they do get that basic needs allowance and shelter allowance for them to kind of move on and have a place to stand up before they can get a job.
Many people might not have the resources that you're providing with Sakina Homes. So what would you advise then? They might not have a great shelter to go to. They might not have all of these resources that you're describing.
So one thing is we provide remote casework for that reason, that sometimes people geographically cannot come to us, or just logistically for them, it doesn't make sense. They can't move in with us. So we provide remote casework for that reason, that anywhere they are in Canada and in some places in the US as well, they can call us and our caseworkers will work with them remotely wherever they are. But I think the most important thing is, as a community, as everybody, whether we know someone who's being abused or not, is to educate ourselves on the resources that are available. You never know when someone's going to need it. We've had people come to us, call us that I know personally, and I'm shocked that they call, because you never know who's going to need that service. It could be the person who prays next to you. It could be the teacher of your children. It could be the wife of your local imam. Like, you don't know who's
So how
going
can
to
you find out about those resources?
So they're available online. We have resource lists as well. So if people call our toll-free number, we have all the resources available. But even with a quick search, you can find anything you're looking for. You're looking for soup kitchens or shelters. With a quick Google search, you can find them. If you want everything in one place, you can call our number, and our caseworkers can provide that for you, no problem at all.
Mm-hmm. How can people overcome the trauma that they've experienced if they've gone through this domestic violence situation?
It takes a lot of counseling, I think, a lot of therapy, and a lot of understanding that the world is not all bad. Sometimes people come with a jaded view out of these relationships, saying that, you know what, well, you know, this is all I know of Canada, and everyone who I came across in Canada has been the same way to me. And that's because they've lived with their abuser and their abuser's family, and they've felt that. So a lot of the times people do have that jaded view, and it's hard for them, I think.
Sometimes they go back to their partner because
they do.
They just have this sort of attachment to their
partner.
They
do. So the statistic is a woman will go back 7 times before she leaves for good. I think that statistic is wrong. I think they go back. I think the average is higher than that.
Really?
I think the average is higher than that. And that's because there's a cycle of abuse. So there is that period of violence or emotional abuse. And then there's that silent period, then there's that makeup period, then there's a honeymoon period again, where everything is great and he's being fantastic, or your abuser's being fantastic, and then it becomes the cycle again. So whenever they go through that cycle, and that cycle isn't like a 1 day or a 1 week or a 1 month thing, it could span over a year, that cycle.
Okay.
So the longer that cycle is, I think the less the women catch onto the cycle. In my experience, that's what we've seen. So when they see that, the honeymoon period, they're like, this is great. Like, my kids are happy. I'm happy. My spouse is happy. Or even when it's, we get girls who have fled violent, like, family homes. So, like, my dad and my mom are happy. I'm happy. Everyone's happy. But then they'll go back into that cycle, and then they'll realize, okay, nothing has changed. So for them, that's, a big thing too. So when they see that good times, they want to stay, or they don't know what else is out there, so they want to stay and try to fix things. But when those bad times come, that's when they, are scrambling to kind of figure out where to go, how to do what they need to do to protect themselves or their children. And we see that quite often, honestly, no matter where the abuse comes from, whether it's, your spouse, your in-laws, your own, like your parents, your siblings, honestly, your son, your daughter, your son-in-law, your daughter-in-law, wherever it comes from, we see that cycle. And that's what the women struggle with a lot in counseling and therapy, which is, but things were so good. How did they get to this? So what did I do? So that's what we see.
What would be your advice if a woman was sitting before you and saying, I'm scared to move forward. I don't know what's out there, and I'm worried that my life won't get better. In fact, it will be worse, and I won't ever achieve, a sort of peace in my life. Do you have advice for that individual?
I do. I would say, sit and work with someone to create those pros and cons. Sometimes that's all you have to do, is create those pros and cons of, if you leave, what will your life look like? If you stay, what will your life look like? Will things get better? And honestly, like, alhamdulillah, at Sakina Homes, we offer reconciliation services too. For women who come to us and say, we weren't physically abused, we just have misunderstandings, either with our family or with our spouse. We have misunderstandings. We need someone to kind of be that third party to mediate these things. So we offer reconciliation. Alhamdulillah, through the past 2.5 years almost, 12 families have come through our reconciliation program.
That's
and alhamdulillah, gotten better. Things have gotten better for them. So for us, if someone was to come to me and say that I need help and I don't know what to do, we would go through, I think, the whole process with them of what, if you leave, what would that life look like for you, based off our experience with other clients.
So can you speak about that? Have you seen people who have gone on and thrived and succeeded?
Absolutely. We have women who have come through our program who are doing their bachelor's, who have now finished their master's and have an amazing career, mashallah. We have women who have come through and, with children who are remarried now, and so living happy lives. So there's always a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's just about getting there. What's the path to get there? And that's what we're here for. We're here to help guide them through that path and be with them every step of that way, so they don't have that fear in them of, I'm going to be all alone if I leave. So we are always going to be there. Even after they move out with us, we follow up with them for months until they tell us that they don't need our help anymore. so that they know that, you'll always have someone, like someone to listen to you, someone to help you, someone to guide you through that path so you can get to that happy place.
Thank you for providing all these insights and for providing this path to these women who really need it. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed this video, click like and subscribe, and please donate to support our work at QuranSpeaks.com.